Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Hofcast. As you can see, we are at a special location today. We are up at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Um, again, afternoon as opposed to nighttime. And we got some guys that work with the Cavs with us today. And we got JJ and Bryson. And these guys work with junior Cavs and some community outreach. And we're going to talk about that today as we get started. And first of all, JJ, what are the Cavs doing to kind of reach into the community? Especially now that the team's seeing a little bit more success.
For sure, and obviously with the team playing well, it makes our job a little bit easier. But so I mean, it's important for the Cavs to obviously get out in the community. We have a platform that we're able to use where people want to do different things with the Cavs. So through our youth sports programs and our junior Cavs program, we're able to kind of get out in the community. Bryson does a really good job of kind of being face-to-face with the kids. I'm more behind the scenes, kind of setting the partnerships up. But just getting out in the community is really important for us just because obviously we want to create Cavs fans at a young age. And we do that through different youth sports organizations, just like Hall of Fame Huddle or your typical Parks and Rec program, whatever it may look like. There's a kid playing basketball in the age of 5 to 12. We want to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So that's really important for us and the leadership team here at the Cavs.
Bryson, we'll talk a little bit about the camps here in a second, but if people can't, I'm sure you can hear it in the background. We got a high school game going on right now. Talk about the different options that you talk. Our camps are generally younger kids. How can older kids and maybe high school coaches and teams get involved with stuff like this?
Yeah, so we like to say we have three different buckets. So we got our junior Cavs for about ages 5 to 12, which, like we just kind of mentioned, it's the Hall of Fame huddles. I know you guys do a lot of stuff in the middle school and high school space as well, but it's our Parks and Recs, it's our CYO programs, everything like that. And then once they kind of get into that middle school age, that's when it kind of shifts to the Cavs Academy. And that's kind of where Bryson spends most of his time. And that's where, all of our camps and clinics live. And then once they get to that high school level, we schedule high school games out here at the field house. So we want to be a part of every single part of their youth basketball journey. And we feel like we cover that through those three areas.
And Bryson, you're very interactive and involved with the kids camps. Yeah. I think you guys call it Cavs Academy, right? I see it during the games, literally nonstop.
Yeah.
What would one of those camps look like for a kid in elementary or middle school?
That high energy, very detail oriented, fundamental focus, but emphasis on fun. So we want to make sure that their first experience, if it's their first experience, something a pleasant one, because then that builds retention. So we know once they come back, we got them, and then we continue just to feed them, continuously doing whatever activity we have.
So it's definitely a focus of you guys to. There's no skill level that's required.
No, not at all. So we start them off as young as 3 years old, through our Cavaliers program, which is from 3 to 6 that they're able to do with their parents, and then we take them from 3 all the way up until they get to high school. So there's no level that you have to come in with, but we know that there's going to be a level once you leave here, and that's hopefully better than what you started with.
What would a kid? Let's just say a kid's never played basketball before, and they get excited about getting the tickets to a Cavs game or Cavs shirt, so they want to come. Why shouldn't a kid like that be hesitant or kind of nervous to be in something like that if they've never played before?
I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I still get nervous every time I'm out there in the court with the kids. But it's something that it's a family environment. We're very warm to all families, all our kids, no matter what skill level they are, and we make it more of a opportunity for them to grow and develop, not only on the court but off the court as well. So we have different conversations throughout the duration of our camps and our clinics and any activations that we do. So we just give the opportunity for the kids just to be themselves.
And I'll say this too, like just because he won't say it himself, but like our three coaches, Bryson, Luke, and Jess, like they're awesome on the court and with these kids. because each camp and clinic, you might have a couple kids that are skilled, and then at the same, clinic, you'll have a couple kids that are just getting started. And they make it the same for everybody, and everybody still gets something out of it. Just by the way, they kind of run things, and they do things. So, yeah, every single kid has an opportunity here, and we like to make it fun, and that's kind of our main thing. And so the Cavs are fun, and especially when you're that young. We don't think we're two college hoopers, but we don't think you should be focused on necessarily making 100 shots a day or whatever it is. We just want you to fall in love with the game. I think that's the most important part for us.
Have you guys ever played one-on-one?
Honestly, no. We're both a little bit washed. I think I'm probably a little bit more washed than he is. I'm only 4 years out. So.
Has you guys' jobs gotten a little bit easier now? I mean, obviously last year with COVID, everything was a wreck. But even before that, I'm sure it was probably a little tougher to persuade kids and parents to come to, something where the reward is Cavs tickets. But now, obviously, this year they're the top of the NBA. How much easier has it made you guys' experience?
So, for me, a lot easier. I mean, not necessarily easier, but there's a lot more people that are open to taking my calls rather than 2 years ago. So, I started out in entry-level ticket sales, kind of worked my way up to youth sports. And so I was grinding when it was, I started here in 2014 or 2015, and we were, we weren't very good. We didn't have a great record. We were kind of at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and it's tough to talk Cavs to, a random person you never heard of before. And so we can tell, when we're making these calls and doing these different things now in the community, people are excited. You turn on the TV every day and the Cavs are being talked about, and that's awesome. But at the same time, it's not always about what we do now in the youth sports world. It's not really about the team performance. We have a platform that will impact the kids, and that's what we're all about. So, whether we have 50 wins this year or 20 wins, we're going to be out there doing the same thing. And we're going to try to impact as many kids as possible. So, I think overall the job is more fun just to be in an environment where people are happy. The city's the city's coming alive for the Cavs again, and just being a Cavs fan makes it more fun in general.
Well, from my point of view, I've been a season ticket holder since 2018, I think.
Yep.
The last year LeBron was here, and you probably have been through the same thing. Try to get a buddy to come to a Cavs game when they're 15 and 60. And I got constantly criticized. Oh, you're wasting your time going up there, or you paid for those. I mean, to me, it was fun, even when we were losing. But now everybody wants to come. Oh, you got tickets to this game? You got any extras? Well, it definitely changes.
Yeah, people are calling us now.
Last question. We talked about the on-court stuff, but what does a kid benefit from off the court? I know there are some perks for kids that come to these camps. Can you talk about what they get in addition to the skill work?
Yeah, so through all of our stuff that we do, Junior Cavs, Cavs Academy, and Cavs Elite, it always comes with 2 Cavs tickets per participant, and usually some Cavs swag, and then some Cavs goodies as well. I know the Cavs Academy camps we hand out our kid mark or kids club. Yeah, kids club kits.
We give a lot out, obviously in resources. But there's a lot of things that we do in the community as far as what we do within our school programs that we have, that we learn about different schools and initiatives based on the kids that attend our camps and clinics. A lot of things are shared with us through your parents. And so we get out and talk to principals and administrators of how can we be an asset to your everyday school life. And what happens is we end up going and getting class takeover. So it not only benefits that one student that came to our campus clinic, but now we're going and visiting this whole school. So now all the schools are being able to get a taste of what Cavs Youth Sports is. And so that gives a benefit, that maybe not all kids may be able to reach, or maybe I'll be able to get out to a camp or a clinic, but they're able to experience this in some capacity.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask a question too. Explain that gym class. We didn't touch on that. This is something kind of newer that we've done, and Bryson's done a really good job. It kind of started just through COVID. So just touch on that a little bit more, just so the viewers.
Our gym class takeover is pretty much, what it sounds like. We enter into a school. Obviously we have to, call and make sure it's all good. But we'll show up to a school and do a PE class, and we'll tell the PE teacher, go ahead, have a seat. We'll take over, and we pretty much run a basketball center activity for the class for about 30 to 45 minutes, and that goes from ages grades first all the way up until 6. So we deal a lot with elementary schools, sometimes middle schools, if the kids aren't too cool for school, they have us to come in and do it. So that's another way to get them into our ecosystem as we talk about fan development. So the kids, also, get to participate in that. They still get their 2 tickets. They get the arm sleeve. They get a big poster, that has our big picture and logo on it that they're able to plaster off in their gymnasium wall. So that's just another touch point that we're able to use. Another component that we talk about is inspiration. So we talk with our middle and high school students just about the sports industry, what it's like to be myself, what it's like to be JJ, and how do we get here? And everybody else is, road is a little different. Everyone's path is a little different, but if you want to be involved in sports in some capacity, this is what it can look like.
And since I'm a girls basketball organization, I mean, it's worth noting that we're starting to get together and do some things, and I appreciate you reaching out, and putting extra attention on girls specific. So we definitely got some things going on that will be coming around soon. That nothing that we can announce yet, but I appreciate that opportunity. You guys, taking the care to say, hey, girls matter too. I'm sure you guys get plenty of girls, but I would imagine that the majority of them are boys.
Yeah, majority of them are boys.
It's just how it is.
Yeah, majority of them are boys, but Coach Jess does a good job with Her Time to Play initiative. So we're definitely always trying to get girls more involved. We have some all-girls clinics coming up. So definitely check out our website for that, catsleep.com. It'll have all our, list of summer camps. So we have about 2 all-girls clinics. So we're definitely always trying to get girls involved.
Well, we're going to move on, but you said the website briefly. Where can people get information about Junior Cavs?
Yeah, CavsYouth.com has a lot. You can reach out to me directly. So if anybody's watching this, just hit up Rich. He's got my contact information, and he'll kind of hook you up. And we're always willing to have a conversation. It doesn't matter if you got 5 kids or 500 kids. We don't care. We just want to impact these kids, at a young age. So, hit me up, man.
Sounds good.
We got some good things coming with Hall of Fame Huddle.
Appreciate it.
We're definitely excited too, on our end, just to get into, because this all started kind of the Stark County relationship. I know you're from that area, and so am I. So, it's a big initiative for us to get into those different areas, which you do really well. So we appreciate you as well, kind of allowing us to latch on and impact your kids with you. So
thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you'll hang around and
I'm going to be here. So
supervise me at the very least.
Yes, sir.
I'll get a little close to this computer now. We're going to move on. We have high school coaches for Mags and St. Joe's coming up on the show. Looks like Karen is ready, kind of. I've never sat that far from my computer. So I haven't been able to kind of get this thing set up. But we got some Mariah Carey going on in the background. We'll get Karen up. Karen, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I couldn't see you, so I was just wondering.
I got the camera flipped off. I'm happy to turn it on though.
Oh, whatever your preference is.
How
How's
are
it
you?
going,
How's that?
Good. We're waiting on Danny.
Okay.
But we'll get started while we're waiting on Danny. Talk a little bit about St. Joe's so far this season? I'm aware of kind of your impact players, and but how's the season going for you guys so far?
So far, so good. We've had some good, challenging games so far. We stand with a record of 3-2, but our 2 losses are both to teams currently ranked in the top 5. So if there is such a thing as a good loss, I think both of those qualify. But yeah, we're having fun. We're continuing to grind, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season. We leave for Florida here in about 2 weeks. We're going down there to play in a tournament. We have 3 games down there against some great competition that's only going to keep making us better and prepare us for the postseason.
I'm sorry, where did you say you were going to Florida? They got Mariah Carey blaring in my ear.
We're going to Naples.
Okay.
Yeah, we're playing in a tournament down there against some great competition. We're looking forward to it. We have 3 games down there in between Christmas and New Year's. And we're just looking to keep getting better, and get a little better every single day and keep improving so that we're peaking at the time of the tournament.
The reason I wanted to have you on the show today, it's obviously a Cleveland themed show tonight. Well, this afternoon. And I know you're in practice right now, so I really, really appreciate you making a time slot for us. But you guys were supposed to play Mags tonight. It's as far as I'm concerned, the biggest rivalry in Cleveland. 2 all-girls schools, which some people feel certain type of way about private schools, but it is what it is. The reality is, you guys have a heck of a rivalry up there. Tell me a little bit about what your experience has been so far, starting your second year up there in regards to that big rivalry.
Yeah, so last year obviously was not a typical year, and I think ordinarily both games, we play home and home, so every year we play twice, and typically it's standing room only in both gyms, and it's a tremendous atmosphere, and to me that's what high school sports is all about, that rivalry and being able to go play in those games. So many of our athletes are good friends because they went to grade school together and then landed up at different high schools, and they're so excited to compete against the people they know. They play AAU together, so there's that aspect of it. It's a great rivalry. It's a super friendly competition, and it's something I know our girls really look forward to every year. And how lucky all the girls are in this area to have those games to watch and take part in.
Well, we got Danny with us now, so it's really going to get cutthroat.
Hey,
how you doing, Danny?
Great. How are you guys?
Appreciate you making some time for us.
Sure.
I actually was at the St. Joe's Mags game last year, and I know that I didn't experience it the way it should be experienced with COVID. And selfishly, I'm a little bit not disappointed that it got canceled today, because I would have to choose between the Cavs or the St. Joe's Mags game. But Danny, give us a little bit of an idea of what that game is like at full strength and when it's really at its peak.
It's as fun as it gets. You see great rivalry games, between other high schools. And I think it's even a little bit bigger, you see an Ed Ignatius game and it's kind of close to that level, right? I think some of the area schools, like suburban schools or public schools, have really good rivalries, but I think because these communities are just so tight knit with one another, that it just makes it really special and fun.
You guys really are close. I know I heard before the name that they gave this game. Is it like the Battle of the Bridge, Battle over the Bridge, or?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that's changing a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely something like that. Yeah.
Now, your guys' rosters are a little bit different. Karen, you guys are kind of senior heavy, and you got some veterans, and Danny, your roster is kind of getting towards it's more of a younger squad than you're used to. Is that something that you think might be a disadvantage for you guys as far as having so many young kids that are contributors that haven't played in this type of environment before?
Yeah, I mean, I think it works both ways. I mean, I think no doubt, Karen's got a few girls that have played in this game probably 7 or 8 times now, right? And we definitely have girls that have played in it. We have a good, nice group of seniors. And we do have 3 freshmen that are logging a lot of minutes, and sophomores that are logging a lot of minutes that haven't experienced it. Sometimes, they don't know what they're doing and come in and play really well because they don't know, exactly what the situation is. But yeah, I mean, I think it can work both ways. But if you're asking me, having a team with 8 or 9 games of experience in it is definitely, definitely a little bit of an advantage, I would say.
Now, this question you both can answer because you both have your separate experience on how this goes. With the game being so big and it's such a rivalry, is there like a week leading up to it, or is there anything special that you guys do? I know for Hope and St. V football game, it's like Hush Week, I think they call it, or Hush Day, or there's certain things that you guys do leading up to the game. Do either one of your schools take part in anything like that for the girls' game?
You want to go, Karen, or
No, go ahead.
From our standpoint, I mean, not really. I just know how excited the girls get. So I don't try and save a bunch of time before the game. Like we played Monday night. People are like, why are you doing that before the Joe's game? And it's like, well, we're going to get to the Joe's game no matter if we play or we don't. So to me, it's like, hey, let's go play a game. And instead of having to practice, 5 or 6 times, I've had it happen both ways where we play a game, where we don't play a game. I think it all depends on your group and your group of kids. But, the kids probably start thinking about it 2 weeks before, right? So, it just depends on your group.
I think school-wise, Rich, I think both schools, everybody's so aware of it. Like it spreads like wildfire. All the students are aware it's coming up. And I think, word of mouth alone has kind of been sufficient to hype it up. And I think, we saw it in the volleyball contests this fall. Awesome student sections, and the schools are so close to each other, and the communities are, like you said, so close knit to begin with, that it's the turnout is amazing, even if you don't, hype it up all week at school and do pep rallies and what have you. So, I think we're both expecting great season, even if you don't, and great turnout from the schools and communities.
I know. As you both have mentioned, a lot of those kids are really good friends. They've grown up together. They've played AAU ball together for years. Do you think that makes it a more bitter rivalry, or does it kind of take away from it that, they're all best friends and they're going to be talking after the game anyway? There's no bad blood. How does that affect the rivalry itself?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, they're all going to be friends at the end of the day. And likewise, I feel the same with Danny. I know Danny, and I think he's doing great things with his program. And so same thing from my end, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm, going to walk out with the same amount of respect for, them as I came in with. And I think the girls just really, they love the opportunity to compete against each other and compete against their friends.
Well, Karen, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're currently in practice, so it means a lot to me that you made the time. We'll go ahead and let you go so you can get back to your kids. Danny, I'll keep you for a couple of minutes, get you a couple extra questions. But Karen, I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season. I know I will definitely be up there. A lot of those kids are really important to me. So I will be up there in that gym at some point, more than once.
Sounds great, Rich. Thank you so much for having me. Hope to see you soon.
All right.
Take it easy, guys. See you, Danny.
Bye, Karen. Bye.
Danny, we talked a little bit about your roster. There's several new kids in there that are making impacts for you as freshmen. Can you talk about a couple of those kids for us?
Yeah, you want me to talk specifically about the freshmen? I mean, we've got a lot
Yeah,
of new faces.
we'll get to the roster.
Group.
Yeah, we'll get
Okay.
to the other roster, but just some of those new kids
Yeah.
that we haven't seen.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting 2 freshmen right now. Sophia Wilson is from Avon Lake. Julia Hall is from St. Raphael's. Jakaya Anunwar is from Berea, Cleveland area. All 3 of them are logging big-time minutes right now. Very talented kids. They work hard. They're great teammates. Our older girls, we're very receptive to them right away. I mean, you never know how it's going to go when you have multiple girls from all 4 grades on a roster, right? I mean, it could be an issue, but from day one, our kids have been awesome, and this could be, I'm not going to say it yet because it's really early in the year, but this could be the closest team that I've ever had.
Yeah. And I know Molly Lespiza had an injury. Is she back playing, or if not, when is she expected to be back?
No, she's not back playing yet. I don't know an exact date. I don't like to throw out exact dates, but she's getting close.
Okay. I see you guys are undefeated, correct?
Yeah, we are
5-0 or 4-0.
5-0 now.
How's those? I know you've played some great competition. You beat Strongsville. You beat Solon. What are your? Have you met your expectations for the start of the season? Are you kind of above expectations, or what?
I try not to set any expectations. I never know, what's going to happen day to day. That's one thing I've learned the last few years. You got to kind of come into each day and just try and do your best you can that day to get better for the next day. So I didn't put any sort of expectations, especially with this group, with all 4, grade levels coming together. We talked about it after the game in Strongsville. This is my 5th year at Mags already, and this is the best start that we've ever had. So yeah, I wouldn't have expected that, but I believe in this group big time, and they've been a ton of fun, and, having that mindset of conquering things every day and getting better every day. This group's doing a great job of that.
That's excellent. I definitely look forward to getting up and seeing you guys. Did I see that the Joe's game was rescheduled for next Monday?
Yeah, as of right now, it's next Monday. Yep, triple header, 4, 5:30, and 7. So we're hoping that stays. I was checking Twitter all day today, and I keep seeing all these games getting canceled right now. So hopefully that this sticks and we can get through this next few weeks, because it looks like it might be a tough part for everyone.
Hopefully the next game we see get canceled is the Browns.
I don't know if that's going to happen, man.
Well, Danny, I appreciate you. You're just a great friend to me, and I appreciate it. And I definitely can't wait to see your Mags girls up there getting after it.
Hey, Rich, thanks, man. Thanks for being a good friend. Thanks for always positively promoting our program and especially girls basketball.
No problem, man. Hey, good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Have a great one.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
That rivalry, man. Again, like I said, I was at one of those games last year. It wasn't what it usually is with the COVID, and there weren't that many fans, and students weren't there. I'm excited to get back up and see that environment in all its glory. So we're going to move on, and we're going to move to Coach Amani Gordon from Notre Dame College up here in Cleveland. And so we're moving from the high school level to the college level. Coach G, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I am doing excellent. I know that Cleveland and the immediate Cleveland area has been home for you for several years.
Yes, it has.
So what does Cleveland mean to you, Coach?
Cleveland is home. I mean, I grew up 30 minutes away in Akron, Ohio, so Cleveland has always been home, and my family's close, so I'm very family oriented, so they really keep me here.
Yeah. And you played at Cleveland State, which is, I don't know, probably a 10-minute walk down the road from Rocket Mortgage, maybe not even that. What were your years like up here at Cleveland State? We're gonna have Destiny Leo on here a little bit later, but what was your experience like at Cleveland State?
I know I see Destiny is killing right now.
It certainly is.
But I mean, it was great. I think college really helped shape me into the person I am today. I found out I wanted to be a coach when I was at Cleveland State. My coach kind of saw something in me, and she was like, "I think you would be a great coach. We got a GA spot that we're gonna hold for you if you want it." So she kind of got me into coaching, and my experience at as far as playing was great. I have my teammates are my lifelong friends. I still keep in touch with them. Like I said, it just helped shape me into the person I am today.
Now you are entering not entering, you're in the middle of your first year at Notre Dame College. Did you ever believe that you were going to have a job this early, or is it something that maybe a little bit of surprise that has come along this early?
It was definitely
Did
a
you
surprise.
want to be a head coach? Some people don't ever even want to be the boss.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a coach, a head coach. I feel like I always prepared myself. Listening to a lot of like seminars and Zooms, they always say like prepare now for where you want to be. So I felt like I was prepared. It was a shock that it happened so soon, but it wasn't a super shock as far as being prepared and ready.
Yeah. Now you had a great coach. I'll call her your boss because some of the assistant coaches when I talk to them like, oh, the boss has to check off on that, or the boss has to approve that.
Right.
You coached for Lauren Macer
Uh-huh.
for several years, and then she went to Purdue Fort Wayne. What did you take from Lauren as kind of, at least as of right now, the head coach in waiting? What did you kind of take for her while you guys were being very successful there at Notre Dame?
Well, first thing first, me and Lauren's relationship was super tight. It didn't even really feel like a boss dynamic. She really just, took me in and allowed me to have a lot of say, and that helped me prepare too. And I just always seen how she was just, she stayed calm throughout everything, and she was always open and let the players, have their, input about things. So I really learned that from her, and just the relationship part with my assistant. So I showed the same, we have this, me and my assistant now, we have kind of like the same dynamic me and Lauren had.
Yeah. Let's get in a little bit about your squad. I mean, you've had quite a bit of success here at Notre Dame over the last several years, and if my memory serves me right, you've only have one loss this year so far, right? Or
no, we have four losses. Yeah, unfortunately.
I left my notes in the car, so
yeah, we lost to Super Rock, Glenville State. We lost to Super Rock twice, so that's 3. I can't think of the other team, but yeah, we have 4 losses.
Well, you guys have had a ton of success. You've been at the top of the MEC for, and by top, I mean not the top half, but we're talking 1 and 2 for years.
Right.
How has the transition been for you going from the assistant who, Lauren is a good cop too. I'm not going to call her a bad cop, but the assistants are always the good cops.
Right.
And now you're the one in charge, and those decisions are, a little bit tougher. How has that transition been for you, going from the assistant to the woman in charge?
I didn't think it was going to be so hard. Like you said, being the person who disciplines the girls and, holding them accountable. It was kind of super hard for them. And we're still adjusting too, because like you said, assistants are the good cops. So I was that person for them. I was super cool with the girls. They were able to come in and talk to me whenever. And then they kind of have to separate that now. I mean, we still have great relationships, but now, like you said, I'm that person disciplining, and I'm in control of playing time. So I think we're still adjusting to that. I would say that's probably the hardest part about it. Like everyone, I can't make everyone happy. And that's what I think is my biggest struggle or biggest challenge right now, as far as jumping from assistant to the head coach.
Oh, absolutely. When you're not the one in charge, you're the one that doesn't have to answer for the playing time.
Exactly.
But now
everything is my fault.
Not happy about the playing time. It's obviously your choice. But that has to be tough, especially, you're a younger coach. I mean, these kids probably really take to you and relate to you really well because you just recently went through, your
Right.
college career. And that probably is definitely a huge asset for you. But then on the other hand, it probably, because those kids have connected with you so well, it may
Exactly.
be tougher being the
Right.
one
It's not like I came into a whole new
laying
team
the
and
hammer
already
down.
coached these girls. So
Yeah. Now you had a little bit of adversity coming through the beginning of the year with Jada being hurt. I know she's back on the court. I
unfortunately,
don't know.
she's gone again.
She's gone again.
Yeah,
I was
she
gonna say,
came
I
back
don't know if
for
she's
like
playing
2
full minutes
games.
yet.
Yeah, she came back like 2 games, I believe, but like she kind of rushed back, so her foot wasn't all the way healed. So right now she's
Yeah.
just doing intense rehab, and her comeback time is just to be determined. We have no idea if we will even get her back.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely get into some of those kids that have stepped up and made an impact. But how do you kind of approach the team knowing that the kid that you've planned, to be your team leader, because she has been for the last 2 years, how do you kind of handle that adversity and move forward?
What we're really holding in on just staying positive and staying together. We are asking a lot of these girls now. A lot of girls are, stepping into roles that they probably wouldn't have played right away, or playing positions that they might be, uncomfortable with. Like we have a freshman point guard right now who never really played point guard. So it's all about us just staying together, staying positive. We know we're missing a huge piece, but we got to have that on to the next mentality, because we can't dwell on it. Of course, you miss her out there on the court, but I think we're getting better every day and figuring it out. And then if we do get her back, it'll be a bonus. But right now, everyone is just doing everything they're asked of plus more. So I'm proud of the way they reacted to Jada being out.
Yeah. Now, the one kid that's definitely standing out as an impact kid is Samia Ridley. She's a senior, I believe, from Madison, Ohio.
Yes.
So I've seen that kid play for years now.
She's a
and
beast.
the transformation that she has made has been incredible. Talk a little bit about Tamia and her growth, even just from last year to this year.
Tamia, we call her Mimi. Mimi is one of a player that I work very close with, because when I first was assistant, I came in, I was the post coach. So I've been working with her since her freshman year. So I'm pretty tough on Mimi, and I see all the potential in the world that she has. And it's like, I'm super happy that it's, coming to light now, and she's, feeling confident, and she's putting us on her back right now, and she's playing the basketball I know that she, could play. So I'm super proud of her. Like I said, she's leading the way for us. She's really focusing on rebounding. She had 24 rebounds 2 games ago, had like 3 straight double-doubles. So like I said, she's stepping up huge for us. I think this is just the beginning for her, though. We still have a lot of games, and I feel like she's just reaching the tip of her potential.
There's one kid that I want to ask about specifically, but I'm going to ask a question before that.
Okay.
With Jada being out, you obviously have a lot of kids you have a lot of points that you need to make up. Who's the kid that's kind of offensively stepped up and made a big step to help you guys fill that void?
I think Alana Ellis and Jen Adujo has stepped up huge. They're averaging double figures for us right now. And our freshman point guard, Lily, she's averaging about 10 points a game, maybe like 2-3 assists a game, a couple steals a game. So, like I said, we're all stepping up, because we're missing 20 points a game in our All-American. So everyone has to contribute in a way. And I think Alana, Jen, and Lily is doing a great job of that. And Mimi now, too, she's starting to score more, but she's really been focusing on rebounding. But I think the scoring part is coming, now coming to her. So I think we have a team that can have 5 double-digit scores. We're just still figuring out, who wants the ball here, or we talk a lot about not having empty possessions on offense. So we're just trying to figure that out, and everyone's, playing a role that they might not be playing, but they're trying and they're stepping up. So I would say those 3 people for sure.
Now, the kid that I wanted to ask about specifically is Lily.
Mhm.
And here's why. It's a conversation that I have quite a bit with coaches in our AAU program. Even it's a struggle to kind of get people to play basketball the way that you need to contribute at the college level immediately.
Mhm.
And Lily is a kid that's done that. Stowe is a program that you guys get kids from, I think, on a daily basis at this point. But at Stowe, Bob has those kids playing hard man defense. They
For
don't
sure.
press, they don't play zone, they don't play the gimmicky trash defenses. They just get after it. And in my mind, that makes those kids that much more ready to play at the next level. Do
Mhm.
you think that contributes to Lily being able to step in from day one and really, I think she had a 28 or 29 point game,
Yeah, already.
game one or game two. Do you think that plays into that or not so much?
I think it's a huge piece. It really is. I talk about it a lot. Like Lily came in already knowing some concepts. Like she already know about Hope Side and she already knows about gaps and she's already coached hard and she's already able to, be a leader. I mean, at the college level it's a little different, but she's literally doing everything that I ask. It's not like a question or a fight back. She's like, whatever I need to do for the team, I'm gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
Jada went down and she was forced to play point guard. She was supposed to be the 2 guard for us. So now she's starting and she's starting at a position she's never really played. So I think just the core values that Bob's put in at Stowe and how he coaches them and gets them ready for college, yes, that plays a huge part of it in it. And I think just the person she is also plays a part in it. She's just so willing to listen and she'll run through a brick wall for us. So like I said, yeah, she's doing great. We tell her all the time, like, Lily, you're doing great. You're doing great. I would say the only thing is she just she don't talk. She's so quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's hard for her as a point guard because you have to be the leader. You have to talk, calling out plays, telling people where they go. And that's one thing that she's really struggling with because she's not a loud person. She's super sweet and super soft. So that's one thing that she's adjusting to.
Defending.
You said what?
Unless she's defending, then she's not real sweet.
Right. Her long arm, she's super active. She's giving us a lot. She's scoring, passing, defending the best player, picking up full court. So we're asking a lot of a freshman who's not even playing in her position, and she's excelling perfectly.
Yeah. And I honestly, I think it's a testament to you and Lauren at the time, good recruiting, because Lily wasn't a kid that was really highly recruited. And it really surprised me on the outside looking in that this kid, I mean, there's a lot of schools that should.
Yeah, a lot of schools missed out on a great player. She's going to be a great player.
Absolutely. Coach, last question. When you're starting your own program, just go over a couple things that would be pillars for your program that you really, from day one, they may have been things that had already, been part of the culture, but what are a couple things that you really want to make as stamped as this is my Notre Dame program now, and this is what I want our kids to live by?
Yeah. So when I first got the job, I really said, I want to set some core values that we're going to live and die by. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to be known for. We got 8 core values. We talk a lot about trust and being tough, communicating, just like those pillar things that we want to show day in and day out, and what we want to be known for. A lot of things. I mean, one big thing that I learned coming in is you have to set your culture, and your culture is probably the most important thing. And like I said, we're still working on it. We're still getting the kinks out and doing things how I wanted to be. So like I said, we work on it every day. We talk about our core values all the time, and we just want to be known for that, and we want to be able to have these new kids come in and already have a tone set. This is how we do things. This is how the program works. This is how coach is. And they're already coming to a culture that's already, intact.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answer your question or not.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very important for you to be able to have your own, pillars and foundations of a program, and a lot of all great coaches have their non-negotiables, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on. I know you're actually not very far down the road, but I got a kid that's coming to play for you, Riley Montagner.
Yep.
So I know she's really excited about that, and I'm excited that she's going to get to be in your program and be coached by you. So good luck the rest of the season. I know you got Walsh coming up on Monday. Do you have a game
this Sunday? Yeah, it's a huge game for us.
Absolutely. Coach, again, thank you for your time. Great job so far.
Thank you.
I just appreciate your time, and you always been really good to me. And anytime I need anything, you're there on the phone. So I really appreciate that. And
no problem. Thanks for having me. And, thanks for doing this. You do a lot for the women's basketball. So, I mean, anything I can do and any way I can show up, I'm always there.
Thank you, Coach. Hey, good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. That was Coach Imani Gordon from Notre Dame, starting her first year. And we're actually just going to move right down the road from Notre Dame up to John Carroll, who we got Coach Beth Andrews. Coach, how far are you from Notre Dame? Just what, 5-minute drive?
Nothing bad. I mean, you can throw some footballs across Cedar and get them down there if you want to.
I probably couldn't. I mean, I ain't got that kind of velocity, but Coach, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy in the middle of the season, so I really appreciate it. As you know, it's Cleveland themed tonight, and we're live from the Q, I'm going to call it. I hope nobody hears that doesn't like that, but
that's what I know.
Coach, you took over a program a couple of years ago that was also, rolling. You guys had some good success, but you've managed to kind of even step it up even further. What were the keys for you coming into the job and being able to even take it up a notch or two?
Yeah, being able to have the opportunity to get this position after Kelly Marone left for Merrimack has been awesome. And, I contribute all to our team. We've got a great group of girls, a great group of players who have consistently said, what we've built is what we want to keep. So the seniors have done a great job of just continuously competing, going after each other, making it known what goals we want to, what we want to do, and sharing that with the younger kids. And, sometimes it's not perfect and they're not happy with how they're playing right now. And, we've got to have some uncomfortable conversations. But I think that overall, what I pride myself on, what Kelly taught me and what I constantly do with the girls is communicate. Ask them what they need, ask them what they like, what they don't like. And from there, we've been able to build a really great relationship and kind of just been rolling with it.
So, and let me get this straight. You're undefeated. You're number 3 in the country. And there's still
we're not happy.
There's no complacency, and you just know that there's more there. How do you kind of walk that line, knowing, I mean, the results are there and you're having a very successful program, but how do you're dealing with young ladies. How did you present that message to say, hey, I know we're winning. I know we're high in the rankings, but listen, we got more.
Yeah. The great thing about them is that I put a lot of accountability on them, so we're doing a drill. What's your limit for turnovers for this drill? They say their number. If they don't reach it, that's the punishment, or that's the conversation we have. Before every game, they write 10 to 12 goals on the board. And at the end, the last goal is always win, but that's their last goal, is to win. Above that is free throw percentage, turnover, holding the best player on the other team to a certain amount of points. And the kids are always happy. A win is a win, and that matters. But they're also perfectionists, which can sometimes be a negative, because after a win, you want to walk in the locker room and feel great. But I've got 5th-year seniors who are like, hey, if we keep turning the ball over the way we're turning the ball over, it's not going to cut it versus a Baldwin Wallace, a Transylvania, a Maryville, teams that are coming up right on us and want to take us down. So I appreciate and applaud them for that, while also saying, hey, look at where you're at. Like, look where you're, we're a quarter into the season. You guys are just starting to click. We're just starting to have fun. So let's remember that too while we keep building.
Honestly, I wish the Browns would look at things like that, because, or some of the Browns fans, because, some of those wins are iffy, and everyone's like, oh, who cares? We just won. But, different topic for today.
Right, different. We don't even want to talk about what they're looking at for Saturday.
No. I told Danny, I had Danny from Mags and Karen from St. Joe's on, and I said, hopefully next game that gets canceled. Their game got canceled today, so hopefully next one's the Browns.
I know.
But
for all of us, please.
Me and Coach Gordon just talked about Lily Carlson. I know that's a kid that you're familiar with, but I think you have a kid that is very similar, not necessarily gameplay, but in the recruiting world. Nicole Heffington. I remember that kid when she was at Menor, and she was really good, and I just could not figure out why more coaches were not highly interested in her. She goes to John Carroll, makes a huge impact from day one, and now she's one of the better players in the country. Can you talk a little bit about Nicole and for maybe people that have never seen her or don't know who she is?
Yeah, you definitely need to know the name Nicole Huffington. She's done a great job of making her name known in Northeast Ohio. And I don't know why she flew under the radar. At the time I was coaching at Lake Catholic, so I knew exactly who she was, going up against her right down the street. But as soon as I got to John Carroll and she was going into her sophomore year, I was so pumped because she's a player that, man, she can shoot the three, and then she'll bully someone down low. She'll defend the best guard while defending the best post. If we need a last-second shot, she wants it in her hands. She's that type of player who plays for the big moments, but also lives in every single small one. So, and right now she's leading that charge of not good enough, but here we are. Because it's her 5th year, and she was one that got quote unquote gypped last year when all that stuff was canceled. She clearly made the best of a short season, but she is taken every day like it's her last, because she wants that NCAA run, she wants that tournament, she wants the feel of the big stage to finish her career, and she's on a path to do it. So I'm just happy to support her along the way.
I mean, you hear all the time that if you want to have a great team, your best player has to be your hardest worker, and a lot of times even the vocal leader. Is that something that she falls under? Where, I mean, the kid that's getting all the attention is the kid that's actually pushing everybody the hardest and holding herself to the same standard. Is that accurate for Nicole?
Yeah, I think that all of my kids play hard like that. And what I love about them, and sometimes it gets them into trouble, is they're so competitive. So if I don't call a foul on this person, they're calling the foul. They're calling people out for travels. They're calling so-and-so out for not shooting the three, for illegal box outs. Like, any competition drill we have to start practices, I always tense up a little bit, because I'm like, what are they gonna go at each other for today? But they really want to win, but at the same time they all want their moments and their minutes, and but when it all comes together, it's a beautiful thing. So I think that they do a great job, but I do think Nicole and my other seniors are at the head of that, just every day playing like it's their last. It's so much easier to do as a senior. I remember being in their shoes freshman year, sophomore year, is like, I'm happy to be here. But once you get towards that end, you're like, man, nothing's good enough until it feels perfect. Because for most Division III athletes, this is it. We're either coaching or we're entering an office after we graduate in 4 years.
Now, with you guys, you play in just a tremendous conference with BW, and Marietta's had a lot of success. I mean, Ohio Northern has a tradition where they've been very, very good. Most people don't know this, but many years ago, Capital went back-to-back at national championships. I mean, the OAC is loaded. Like, what is it like to play in a conference where, I mean, if you guys don't bring it every night, somebody could knock you off?
Oh, you said it right then and there. I mean, every single game, we as coaches have to talk about strength of schedule and setting ourselves up for success, with NCAAs and regional rankings and things like that. Like, I don't think as an OAC team, we have to worry as much as other conferences because nothing's easy. You can look at other conferences and see 1 and 2 are, just destroying teams 3 through 8 when our conference is like up, down, close game, overtime game. You just don't know. And whenever I'm recruiting or talking to kids, I say that, like, they're like, who's your rival? I'm like, depends on the week. Like, I have no idea. We get everybody's best game. I love it. It's been like that since I've been a player. It's just really fun to be a part of.
Now, your coaching journey has kind of moved pretty quickly. Like you said, your top player was in college before you were. How did that? How has that transition gone for you? What are some of your biggest challenges, and what are some things that you've learned that are very valuable? It's your second year as the head coach, right?
Yes.
In
I
just
mean,
a few short years.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think the most important thing to, say and know is that I'm learning every single day. And I ask questions every single day to any coach that's willing to talk to me, listen to me. My assistant, Kiara Carter, comes with experience, and she's been doing a great job. Bob Bohr, who, everybody in America knows, brings me my bench presence, who's been in every situation under the sun, and he helps me that way. But at the end of the day, what I take is to not lose myself in the process, to not change. My kids who have been there with me and my new kids who have started this journey with me, I was recruiting them in the process of, like, I might be the head coach, I might not be the head coach, but this is who I am. Ask them to trust me and go with it, and they all have. So I really attribute it to my mentors who are willing to listen, and my kids who are on the ride with me and, allowing me to make mistakes but grow from them. And I got to keep learning, got to keep going with the flow. But Bob reminds me after every game when I'm like, why didn't we do this? Why didn't we do that? Why can't we do this? He's like, the scoreboard, he says, you won.
Yeah.
That's it. And he's right. Like, got to go on to the next game. Keep what we need to work on in the back of our heads, but it's definitely it's a quick season. We got to keep moving forward.
It's got to be a really nice perk to have someone like Bob Boer on the bench with you, who has been a head coach at the college level for several years, and even in this area. How helpful has Bob been for you? He's such a great guy, and every time I see him, he's always he is who he is, but he's always polite and asks you how you're doing, and it's nice. How has it been for you to have a guy like that in your corner?
It's awesome. It's tremendous. And the best thing about him is he brings this total outside perspective, and he says it to me all the time. He's like, this isn't my livelihood anymore. Coaching is stressful because it's our livelihood, and wins and losses are counted, but he brings in this whole, well, did you notice this today about so and so? Well, do you see what Marietta is doing on their sub rotation, where my head's go in this direction? And he brings me so much more from the outside than what I have written X's and O's on a sheet of paper. And he sees things still before I do. He's call a timeout, and I'm over there like, we're on a run, let's go, don't stop, like, keep going. And he's like, I see Jalen Huffin, like, if we don't pull this and reel it in, we're gonna make a dumb turnover, and next thing I know, ball flies out of bounds for no reason, because we're tired. So he brings that sense of calmness to kind of my go, and I couldn't appreciate it more.
I don't want to overlook some of the other players that are big pieces to your program. We talked about Nicole. Who are a couple other kids? I know you probably would love to talk about all of them, but give us a couple of kids that have really either been there already, maybe last year contributed and they're still, there, or maybe even a kid that made a big jump and it has really helped you guys out this year.
Yeah, I mean, right now, you're right. I'm going to do my best not to talk about all of them because we're a loaded upperclassmen team with a lot of experience and a lot of minutes together. But right now, just top of my head, who stands out are my bigs, Hef, Liv Nagy, and Kaylin Underwood. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're all averaging right around double digits. Liv's averaging a double-double. We're doing a really good job of getting the ball inside and scoring consistently. That's been a John Carroll game plan since I played. If you can imagine me at the 5, I'm not really sure how I had any success. I get swallowed nowadays. But our guards are doing a great job of getting them the ball. Abby Adler, Hannah Bucci, and Gabby Javaden are my starting guards, and all 3 of them play extremely unselfish, but are really my energy horses on defense. So they kind of can start the whole process of what we want to do. We want to make people play fast. We want to force turnovers, and with that, we can get our ball to the post. With a 1-2 up the court and an inside score. So they're doing a great job. And then Sarah Balfour coming off the bench. She's my saucy little, fakey into the hoop and one scorer. She's just doing really great things. But all of my returners right now are playing well, and they're taking turns. So I'm excited for it all to click for all of them in one night because they're all capable of, that 7 to 10 points a game.
Yeah.
It just depends on the night and who wants to step up.
I mean, you guys always have a lot of talent, and that's no different this year. Is that a challenge for you to? I mean, you got a lot of kids that you probably would love to play, but balancing that much talent, how much of a challenge is that for you? And it's probably something you're probably learning on the fly as well, I would imagine.
Yeah. Totally. I'm learning on who vibes the best together, who is our press group, who's our zone group, who's our group, that's going to get the ball to Liv every single time we're going versus a smaller team. And the answer is different every single day. But I definitely think that they're doing a great job. And, we actually just read this morning Kevin Love's quote that he had on the Cavs and how they're having fun and playing for each other. Heffington read that to our girls this morning. Because everybody wants to play, everybody wants to score. But at the end of the day, we've got 5 people that play, a lot of minutes. And then we've got people that fill up the end of the train. And today we had one of our best practices because I think that they all really honed into that. Like, it doesn't matter about minutes, scoring, blocks, what continues to matter is that we keep winning and that we keep having fun for each other. So I was really proud of Hef for bringing that out. The Cavs have been amazing to watch lately. And it's true. When you're playing together all for the same reason and you're having fun, the wins are going to keep coming. So that's how I'm balancing it, with telling them why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm not playing you, why I am playing you, and just overall communicating. And then from there, they can ask questions. That's how I've been going with it.
Coach, as we let you go, give us one thing that you want to set as like a pillar in your program. I'm sure you plan on being there for quite a while, and you want to, turn this into something maybe like Sherry across town, where she's been there for 30 years and lots of success. If there's one thing that you could really peg as something that it has to be there, and this is what we're building on, what would that be?
That's a great question. And, I think I would say the word compete. Like, always be a name that somebody says, always be a recognized program, hopefully for winning. And if it's not, it's for, wow, John Carroll played really hard tonight, or wow, you see what John Carroll's doing. Always to be that positive, competing team and never be forgotten. I think that's an important thing because it is hard. We're losing 16 years. It's a huge class. It's an important class, but that doesn't mean that this John Carroll changes. It means that we grow in a different direction. And that's what I want to stay kind of known for.
Excellent. Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks for jumping on with us. And I definitely look forward to see how well you guys continue this year. And every time I see that ranking, it's definitely something I'm proud of, it being Northeast Ohio. And I know a lot of those kids that you got. So it's always exciting.
Yes, Rich, thanks for having me, and thanks for all you do. You make recruiting easier and more fun. So I'm already ready for summer events. So let's go.
Well, we got to go through the spring event first.
Well, I'm ready for all of it.
All right, Coach. Hey, good luck the rest of the year. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on you, and I look forward to getting up there and seeing you guys in person.
Sounds good, Rich. Let me know, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Coach. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, Coach Andrews from John Carroll. Like I said, they're number 3 in the country in Division III. That's just not easy to do, as anybody who's been there can tell you. It doesn't matter what division it is. Number 3 in the country is just outstanding. So good luck to her and her John Carroll's ladies. And we are going to step it up to the Division I level in Cleveland. And we're actually just headed right down the road to the current Cleveland State Viking, Destiny Leo. How are you doing today, Destiny?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad. I appreciate you coming on. We've talked a little bit in the past, so we're not strangers to each other, and I certainly have watched you destroy people at the high school level more than one time. But you're doing it now at the college level as a sophomore. Every time I watch a Horizon League game, everybody talks about Destiny Leo being one of the top players in the league and challenging for Player of the Year. How was the transition for you moving from high school at Eastlake North to Cleveland State?
I think especially because my freshman year was like big COVID year, I think it was a little difficult, but I think I had a lot of people around me. I had the coaching staff, my teammates. I think they helped me have an easier transition to college than maybe I thought it was going to be.
I want to go back to your high school days just for a minute, because you came down to Canton and played a couple times in regionals, and I wasn't there, but I was listening on the radio or online, whatever it is anymore. You guys pushed Glen Oak to the brink at the Civic Center, and if you guys could have pulled that game out, that would have shocked the whole state of Ohio. What was it like to play in games like that where you're not favored to win, you're playing against state powers, but you got to play your best game, and in that game particular, you certainly did.
Yeah, we played Glen Oak in the regional championship my junior and my senior year. I think my junior year we were a little starstruck, but my senior year, I think it was fun because we had never been on a big stage like that with that many people before. And I mean, Glen Oak was a good team. I mean, we couldn't get them either year. So, but I remember we played really hard my senior year, and we were super close. I mean, unfortunately, I remember we didn't get to go to states because of COVID being shut down. But that was a fun game.
As far as your recruiting goes, I always, when I saw you playing high school, I thought you were a superstar, and I thought anybody in the Horizon League that got you was a steal, which obviously is right. But what was it about Cleveland State? Because again, in my view, you could have played higher, you could have played Power 5, but you decided on Cleveland State. What was it about Cleveland State that really got you excited and made you want to stay close to home?
Certainly I think that being close to home was probably one of the biggest factors. I know just last year we couldn't have any fans, so like I feel like I've had a big crowd this year.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of family members and friends come in, but I think that during the recruiting process, like Coach K made it really clear to me that he wanted me at Cleveland State. And I think that was one of the biggest things also that made me want to come here.
How is you guys are kind of going through a transition. You're undefeated this year. You definitely had a great season last year. You're one of the big reasons why Cleveland State has kind of turned it around and went from, 3, 4, 5 years ago being teams that were at the bottom of the league to, again, being undefeated right now. What were some of the things that it took to kind of get the squad headed in that direction?
I mean, I think Coach K has been here for 3 or 4 years, maybe. I think it took maybe the teams and his players a little bit of adjusting, to get to know him and the system better. And I think we've been just setting the standard every year, like just to build off of that and get better. So I think that's one of the biggest things.
For you as an individual, I think I left my notes in the car, but I think you were averaging 24 a game, a little bit a shade higher than 24 a game. As a sophomore, I mean, that's just outstanding. Where do you go from there? What part of your game do you think that you can kind of work on to even elevate your game even more?
I think not so much offensively. I think defensively, I can work on that a lot. And I mean, defense leads to offense, so I mean that's a good category to work for. I think on the offensive end, I mean, I can just keep working hard, getting on transition, and trying to shoot the ball as well as I have been recently. So
I know you guys are on a little bit of a COVID hiatus right now, but what are you excited about moving into the season? Again, can't say it enough. You guys are undefeated right now, but what are some of those league games that you're looking forward to, and how exciting is it for you, sitting where you're at, knowing what you got ahead of you?
yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to get into playing some more Horizon League games. I mean, that's what I feel like I've been waiting for this whole entire beginning of the season. So, yeah, I think we're just excited to get back and get to work. So,
I've talked to Chris a little bit, Kielsmeyer. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not real good at pronouncing things like that are tough, but if you were his voice right now, what are some of the foundations of the Cleveland State program that you guys roll with?
something that he preaches a lot is stick together, work hard, have fun. Those are things that he'll say to us every day. We had a little quiz one day, and that was one of the questions. Of what does Coach K say all the time? Stick together, work hard, have fun. So I think that's one of the big things that he preaches.
I promise I did not talk to him, and he did not ask me to ask that. Um, Again, this episode is all about Cleveland. I'm sitting in Rocket Mortgage right now, so it's kind of Cleveland themed today. Outside of basketball, what is CSU like as a campus? What is the city? How exciting is it to be in the city? Just the general environment. How has that been for you so far as a student up here?
Yeah, I mean, I love being down here. I've been down here my entire life, but I feel like ever since this year, I haven't really gotten to know downtown that much. But it's fun. I mean, I get to go to Cavs games. I mean, and it's pretty much in walking distance somewhat, so it doesn't take that long to get there. It's not that much of a hike. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff to do down here. So.
For anybody who's not been to Cleveland State, you guys have your own arena where you have concerts and obviously big games. What is it like to play in an environment like that, which is very similar to Rocket Mortgage? How, as a player, how exciting is that?
Yeah, the Wilstein Center is awesome. I mean, we pretty much live there sometimes, so it's a really nice facility. I love being there, and it's just a nice place.
Where do you guys go from here? I mean, you're 8-0. I know Coach is probably constantly on you guys not to get complacent and don't get happy with 8-0. But as far as the team's success, how do you guys kind of stay focused and keep grinding away?
I think we just got to take one game at a time. We obviously want to keep building off of our start right here, but I certainly think we need to stay focused and just play every game our hardest.
Absolutely. Destiny, I mean, it's excellent to see how well you're doing. There was never any doubt in my mind that that this would happen. So I just want to congratulate you on a great season. I know you're gonna. If I'm right, there's a 3-time player of the year who is a senior this year. So if anybody can dethrone her at IUPUI as the player of the year in the conference, I guess it's going to be you. So I'm excited to see how you continue to play, and good luck, and tell Coach K that I said thanks for getting you on here. I know we talked this week, and I'll try to stop by and see you guys.
Sounds good.
All right, Destiny.
See ya.
Yeah, Destiny Leo, she's outstanding. When she was at East Lake North, just a great player. And I knew, I mean, she was another kid. We've talked about several kids throughout this show that were just under-recruited. And she was certainly one of them. I saw star power in that kid, and she's certainly showing it right now, even as a sophomore, averaging 24 games, shooting the lights out. So there's a lot of room to grow for her. We are going to be meeting with our player of the week here before we end the show. So we're just waiting to get them on. I'll go ahead and get started on that. The player of the week this week is Lily Bottomley from Northwest. And again, I left my notes in the car, so I'm going to have to look this up as far as to see her stats. So give me 1 second here. Again, Northwest undefeated. They finished in a 3-way tie last year in the pack, and they've actually been through both teams that they tied with already, both wins against Tuslaw and CVCA, and Lily's been a big part of that. We got I think Coach Lauer is going to be coming on with Lily, so we'll be able to talk to him for a little bit and get some questions from him about the Northwest Indians and how they're doing. But this week, Lily Bottomley, of course, I got to sign in. Asked me to sign in at the most inconvenient times. They beat Fairless on Saturday, which was a big game. Both teams were undefeated, and Fairless has a really good post player as well, Grace Lyons, and she actually had a really good game. So the fact that Lily, if I could find these stinking stats, the fact that Lily had a great game against Fairless, who was undefeated, and has another great post player, was excellent. So here we go. Lily on last Wednesday had 31 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks in a win. And then against Fairless, who was undefeated, 24 points and 12 rebounds and another 12 blocks. So she averaged 27.5 points and 13 rebounds in 2 wins for the undefeated Northwest Indians. And Lily's we'll say 6'2" post player, long. I'm excited to get her and Coach Lauer on here in a second, because I would love to talk about how her game is kind of progressing. Generally, she's a post player. They do a great job of getting her looks in the post on lobs and seals. So I'm excited to be able to dig in with them and kind of get the gist of how her game is developing. Big win against Norton as well for the Northwest Indians. Norton was the number 2 seed, I believe, last year in the region. CVCA was a top seed in the region. Tuslaw was a top seed in another region. So they have 3 really good wins. They're 7-0 with 3 really, really good wins. They got Marlington coming up on Monday. So that is going to be another Really, really good game for them. So definitely excited to hear how that game's going. So we're just waiting. Again, we got some big games tonight in the area. Glen Oak visits Jackson. It's always a tough game. As far as Federal League, Glen Oak's obviously still undefeated. They just had a big win against Hoover. So they visit Jackson tonight. Salem at West Branch is a big EBC game. Salem just lost their first game. West Branch still undefeated in the league. So that's going to be a big one. Sandy Valley at Tusky Valley at Sandy Valley, big IVC game. Tusky Valley just ended Highlands 100 game IVC win streak Saturday night. So that's obviously huge congratulations to Highland on that. But, for Tusky Valley to get that win is outstanding. And the thing is, that didn't start right now. I mean, Tusky Valley is a team that's played Highland at least twice a year in the last 3 or 4 years when Highland had their best teams ever. And one year they actually chose to schedule them a third time when they didn't even have to. So just year in, year out, they probably played Highland 8 or 9 times in the last 4 years. So, again, when wins like that happen, this is just not something that happens overnight. Tusky Valley was prepared. They were constantly competing against Highland. It didn't always obviously end up well for them, but they got there. They got on the court, and that certainly helped them this weekend. Let's see who else we got tonight. Fairless at Tuslaw, another big pack game. Both teams only have one loss. Whoever wins that game is going to keep them alive, kind of in the race. They're going to have to play Northwest again and get a win to be considered at the top. But big pack game for those two. Perry at Green is a Federal League game that I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. Both teams are hovering towards the top of the pack. So big game there. And we have our final guest here. We have the Northwest Indians duo here. Okay. All right. Coach, how's it going?
Good, Rich. How you doing?
Not bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We good on your end?
Oh, absolutely. Got the mic checks going on in the background for the Cavs game tonight, but we've been all Cleveland tonight. You two are the first two that are not from Cleveland, so I mean that's an honor right there.
That's not because of me; it's because of her hair.
Lily, let's get into what you did last week. I already went over the stats: 27.5 points for both games, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks in each game. I want to ask specifically the Fairless game. Coach Lauer continuously ribs me about wearing a Fairless shirt, but he's yet to give me a Northwest shirt. So until that happens, he can't really complain. All my Northwest stuff is really small. Okay. I've grown out of it in the last 10 years. But that Fairless game, tell me a little bit about that. You obviously playing against a great post player. You came up big, led the Indians to a win. Just games like that where you're playing against another great player. What is that like?
Sometimes it's really intense, but Coach Lauer always puts us in a really good position. We watch a lot of film. We have a scouting report for every game, and I couldn't do any of it without my team. I don't do it by myself. We got a point guard that averages 7 assists a game, and Ashley's one of the best shooters in the county. So, I can't do any of it without them. So,
Coach said you were nervous to come on. He said you were excited but nervous.
Yes.
There's definitely nothing to be nervous about. You're here because you had a really great week, and we want to focus on that. You won yourself some Cavs tickets, number one. So we'll have to stay in contact and make sure you get to a Cavs game. But you guys had a wonderful season last year. it didn't end the way you wanted it. But you guys, I mean, you competed all year. We're successful. What are a couple things that you and your team are focused on to make that next step this year?
I don't know.
Well, they I'll let you think for a second. So they've sat down and they set up team goals and individual goals at the beginning of the season. And they kind of set that up themselves. And then I come in and look over them later. And then I kind of tell them those are the standards I'm going to set practice at and our games at and our game prep at to try to reach these goals that they set individually and as a team. And that's kind of has helped us because it's kind of like players set goals. I let them set what they want and just tell them, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable to that level then if that's what you want. And it's kind of a tough love at times, but they know that, the caring part is there even though we're pushing them and getting on them. And they handle that really well. They're tough girls that can handle that and take that. And so they do an extremely good job with that. And then if there's anything else you want to add to setting your goals and how to reach them.
I like to take it one game at a time because if I think about more than one, then sometimes I'll stress myself out or, whatever if I think too much. So I like to take it one game at a time and try not to focus on anything other than that, especially if there's a big crowd or, student section or a coach in the stands or somebody watching me. I like to just not think about it and play my game.
Well, something that you certainly have to deal with on a consistent basis as a 6'2", 6'3" post player, you're going to get most of the attention. How have you kind of grown and learned to deal with getting fronted, double team, triple team, having those guards reach down from the perimeter trying to get steals? You're nothing's ever going to change. You're always going to have a lot of the attention. But how have you kind of grown your game to handle that a little bit better and, maybe not even just physically, but also mentally?
Well, I try not to think about it too much, but if I am having a physical game, I have other players on my team that can shoot. I can shoot the ball on the three. I can pass it, I can skip it, I can just do a power move and get the foul. There's a lot of things that I have a lot of options to do, especially because I have such a great team that likes to be uplifting, and we are very unselfish with the ball. So
yeah, Lily's 3-point shot is improved tremendously from last year, and if they're gonna double and triple team her, Triway was doing that last week. She goes out and knocks down 1 or 2 threes from the outside. Coach is shaking his head, and then they come out, and then she goes right back in, and then it's 1-on-1 again. So the fact that she's built that inside-outside game has really helped her tremendously, and that's just about her work ethic and just knowing what she needs to do to obviously we always talk to her. You got guards, you got those guards nipping at your ankles and your heels and your knees, and just get out there, make them come out and guard you out there and hit a couple shots, and then they get off and really helps her a lot there. And her teammates too. The fact that they're scoring, it's hard for teams to double team her all the time when you're leaving people open, can knock shots down. So
yeah, you beat me to my next question, so we'll move on. I don't want to get too in depth because Coach Lauer, I definitely want to get you on the show for your own segment here in a couple weeks. Just judging how well your team's doing. But the one thing I do want to ask you, you guys have beat some very powerful teams from last year: Norton, CVCA, Tuslaw. I mean, these are teams that are the top of the region. How do you feel like that's helped the team, or is there going to be any complacency? Well, we've beat all the top teams already. How do you prevent that from being, a mental roadblock in the future?
So that's something that all high school kids deal with. With playing to the level of competition and not just getting up for those big games, but not having those games that maybe aren't on the record books or whatever look the same. And the girls, I definitely let them know that on any given night, things can happen. And we bring up something maybe that happened in the past last year in a game or something like that to kind of remind them of that. And, the other thing is we continue to have these non-league games along with our tough league games throughout the years. So, we had a tough stretch at the beginning where we really found a way to win some huge games. But then, over Christmas break and then into January, that stretch might even be tougher than the first stretch with, the Classic in the Country and Lima Bath and then McKinley and CVCA and Marlington again. So, I mean, we have, it's almost like we don't even have a break night. So the girls kind of have bought into that. A lot of it is scheduling top tier competition and scrimmages as well to kind of get used to it just being pretty much every night is going to be so I told the girls at Fairless, every team is trying to, their win for the year is going to be trying to knock off Northwest. So you got to be ready because they're all going to play their best game against you every time you see them. So.
And Fairless got that one last year. I knew you weren't going to let that happen again.
No, the girls, I didn't have to bring that up. The girls definitely, that's something they've been talking about for about 12 months or about 10 months. So.
Well, guys, I appreciate your time. Lily, again, congratulations on a great week. I will definitely be out to see you guys soon. I know you got some big games coming up. You might see me. Oh, shoot, I got the Glen Oak event next Monday. I was going to say you might see me at Marlington, but that's not going to happen. Definitely before the season, I'll be over and see one of those big games you guys got lined up.
Well, I got the T-shirt ready to go. As soon as you see me, it'll be in the bag for you.
Then I'll have to take a picture on Twitter, and then
yeah, we got to show Chad that picture.
Then Henry Cobb will be complaining. All right, guys, I appreciate your time. Again, good luck on Monday against Marlington and the rest of the season. We'll see you soon.
All right, thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good night tonight.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, guys, that's all of our guests. We're live here from Cleveland. I hear a ball bouncing back in the background. Looks like that's a Houston Rocket shooting down there. But again, thanks everybody for listening. Just a great episode tonight. Thanks for to the junior Cavs and the Cavs organization to lend me the arena to broadcast live. And again, everybody have a good Christmas coming up next week. Remember, be good to people, do something good for somebody, and please.